Hi.
Someone just told me to hurry up and have kids before it's too late. Too late for what?
Our main story concerns geriatric mom, a woman who is 35 years or older during the time of her delivery because midlife crisis isn't tough enough, so why not have somebody kick you from the inside?
Can we get some love for these older mamas? Some celebs waited until after 40 to become first-time parents.
A few decades ago, pregnant mom over 40 were subject of trend pieces in Vogue and New York Times, but not anymore. What was once prominent among celebrities and C-level executives have become so common that 1 in 5 women in the US have their first child after the age of 35. In the words of the website Pop Sugar, 40 fabulous and fertile women are having a raging case of baby fever. A few generations ago, women married, had children, raised them, cared for the home, the kitchen garden, the hen, possibly the cows and pigs, made their own clothes, and if they survived childbirth, had more children and put them to work in the fields. Probably that's when they realized kids are not very helpful. Birth control, vaccination against childhood diseases, and women's education began to change all of that. For decades, what had been a parenthood delay in Europe and upper middle class American families, the past decade saw an influx of women prioritizing education and career over pregnancy.
I wanted to be very settled when I had kids. So when I met John and we finally got married, I was already like 34 and we wanted to travel. We wanted to buy a house. We wanted to be really settled. I actually had kids at 38 and 40. I was very lucky. They were both healthy. I was very grateful. We were able to invest in a home, so we were a little bit more stable and not stressed out all the time about money. I was old enough and mature enough to not feel like I was missing out on anything. I was kind of ready to be able to be home, but more okay with making that sacrifice.
Across the globe, 28 is the average age when women become first-time mothers. However, the number of women giving birth after 35, an age classified as advanced maternal age, has gone up by 900% over the past 5 decades. It's a smart move because now people cannot tell if you're just pregnant or just fat. Of all the live births in the United States between 2020 to 2022, 49.5% were to women aged 30 and older. Women above age 40 in the US now represent the rapidly growing age group having children. Only 1 in 10 women conceive naturally, and the rest take the aid of assisted reproductive technology such as IVF and surrogacy. Women are born with about 2 million eggs. That's all the eggs that they're ever going to have, and there's a continuous decline in the total number of eggs each month. Just like hair loss is a God's way of telling that I'm human. Bruce Willis. Women's fertility starts to decline rapidly by age 35. By age 37, they have about 27,000 eggs left. Along with the quantity, the quality also declines as they age, which increases their chance of gestational diabetes, preterm birth, genetic disorder, and many other complications. It's interesting to note that AI will aid in choosing the best developing egg cells and sperm, called gamete selection, help in predicting the embryo quality, and may assist the clinician in developing optimal patient-specific treatment regimen to improve IVF success. In India, it is not unheard of for older women in their 60s and 70s to seek IVF treatment to birth a male heir.
Daljinder and her 79-year-old husband, Mahinder Singh, gave birth to a boy, Arman. Not wanting to adopt, in September 2014, they decided to seek IVF treatment. The process cost the couple 1 million rupees, equivalent to £10,000.
IVF and egg freezing aren't as glamorous as they seem. In 2023, Kourtney Kardashian Barker detailed her IVF journey and pregnancy at 44 in their reality TV show The Kardashians.
We are officially done with IVF. I had 7 frozen eggs from years ago, before Travis. When I was 38 or 39, everyone was pushing me to do that. And most of mine didn't survive the thaw because eggs are one cell, and then none of them made it to an embryo. The freezing of the eggs isn't guaranteed, and I think that that's a misunderstanding, is people do it thinking that it's a safety net, and then it's not. All the things that came along with IVF took a toll on me physically. My health is still impacted because it's hormones. And also, like, mentally, it definitely, like, took a toll.
Data from 2021 American Time Use Survey shows mothers with children under the age of 6 spend 7.5 hours per day on childcare on an average. Also, since the burden of childbearing falls on women and society does not value those who dedicate themselves to motherhood, it's no surprise that now women in their 20s and 30s are prioritizing education and career and enjoying the social scene while building their financial security. In India, 50% of today's 30-year-olds are choosing to be childless, which is first since 1920. Up to 22% of Australians are now dual income, no kids, or fondly called as dinks.
Millennials are one of the first generations to not have this intense societal pressure from older generations and from their peers to have children.
I just learned the phrase DINK, which means double income, no kids. And I was like, that sounds pretty lit. And then I heard the phrase DINK-WAD, which is double income, no kids with a dog. Bro, sign me up.
Millennials in South Korea, Taiwan, and many other countries who wish to have something or someone to care for are preferring to raise pets, which are 3 to 4 times cheaper, easy to handle, and are less stressful compared to raising kids.
So when you don't want children, one of the most common things people will say to you is that when you get old, you'll be alone. And I think a lot of people genuinely believe this, and I think part of the reason is that people don't realize how alone most old people are even when they have children. The stats vary, but somewhere around 60% of nursing home residents don't have any visitors in a given year.
Russian Minister of Health, Mikhail Murashko, strongly denounces the belief that a woman should first get an education, make a career, secure a material base for herself, and then only take care of childbearing. According to him, this is the root cause of infertility, miscarriage, IVF, and the lack of large families in Russia.
Women actually need to be treated like adults, and whether it's Afghanistan, Iran, or the United States, a bunch of grumpy old men shouldn't be making essential decisions for them and their bodies.
The cost of childbirth and raising children are not for the faint of heart. To begin, the average cost of vaginal delivery in the US with health insurance costs $4,300. A cesarean birth, which I had, would cost $5,100. According to the USDA, the average family will spend $13,000 per child annually. This is over $250,000 by the time they are 18. A study by China-based research institute found that the cost of raising kids to age 18 is 6.3 times higher than the country's GDP per capita, a ratio second only to its East Asian neighbor South Korea, which has the world's lowest fertility rate, where the cost of child rearing is 7.79 times GDP per capita, whereas the cost is just 2.0 times the GDP per capita in Australia, 2.24 times in France, 4.11 times in the United States, and 4.26 times in Japan, another East Asian country that has long struggled with rapidly aging population and decreasing birth rate. For a generation drowning in student loans, burdened with debts and taxes, stagnant or falling wages in a poor job market, pandemic-triggered recession, rising housing costs, and overall high cost of living has left them with no choice. But even among those who are not facing dire financial situation, not having a child means more savings and possibly early retirement. Like that's ever gonna happen. Dream on, guys. Companies themselves want hardworking professionals to postpone pregnancy and work on their careers. Experian, a data analytics company, provides fertility treatment coverage. Boston Consulting Group supports surrogacy and adoption reimbursement, elective egg freezing reimbursement, and a generous parental leave policy.
Do you think women are not as good at jobs as men?
They're very good, and they work all the time like my mom.
And how about men?
They work too.
Who works harder?
Moms.
Even though companies are coming forward to accommodate moms' busy life by providing remote working options and other benefits, pregnancy discrimination is rampant inside many corporates.
Did you tell Celeste I was pregnant?
Okay, yes, but only in your defense.
What?
This morning, she was telling everyone how she saw you sleeping under your desk a couple of times and that you might be an alcoholic or bipolar or something.
So you told her I was pregnant?
Isn't that better?
No, not at a law firm. No.
Well, it can be. It's a nerve-wracking conversation for any woman, telling your boss that you're pregnant. But this young mother was fired after she told her boss that she was expecting. That's not right. Now she is getting a big payout.
Whether women work at Walmart or on Wall Street, getting pregnant is often the moment they are knocked off the professional ladder. Women taking maternity leave may face motherhood penalty, also known as procreation pay gap, such as being transferred to another team, taking a pay cut, or missing out on promotion and raises. And if they complain, they get fired. According to a Princeton study conducted in the US, for each child a mother has, their earning power drops by 4%. If you wait longer in your career, your salary will have likely increased to support you in managing the compensation debt. Having children later in life has its own set of advantages. A survey of European women comparing full-time professionals aged 40 to 45 found that those who became parents at 35 earned $50,000 more per year than those who had their first child at 20. In many countries, live-in relationship acts as a trial stage before marriage, which likewise delays the birth of their first child. However, it's interesting to note that 85% of women who have child later in life are either partnered or married. Having two parents generally means more emotional and physical support and better financial benefits for children. Women who had children after the age of 33 were twice as likely to live longer than those who had their last child before the age of 30.
Look, I ended up having my son when I was 39 years old. He is now 5 years old and I'm 44. So the level of energy is not what it was when I was 20-some years old. See, when I was 20 years old, I was able to run for my kids. I was able to snatch them up if they were doing something they ain't supposed to be doing. I'm able to, chase them down and, be that mom of the year of, athlete. But when you start getting older and your energy level actually is not the same, your kids be watching cartoon, you might be sleeping. If your kids wants to talk about something and you're looking at them like, what are you talking about? I was born in 1978, baby.
What's commonly observed is that as women age, the energy that she once had is lost and she's left exhausted running behind a busy toddler.
Ava admits nothing she experienced really prepared her for motherhood.
But nobody can prep you. Nobody.
Overall, the children of older moms are found to be better behaved, well socialized, and emotionally healthy in their preteen years. By 2077, the world's population reaches its peak and starts declining. Interestingly, ages 65 plus starts growing to 1 billion from 2020 to 2100. A low fertility rate coupled with increased life expectancies are creating an aging population. An older population comes with a number of economic risks, including rising healthcare costs and small global workforce. This could ultimately lead to economic slowdown if countries don't prepare and alter the pension system accordingly. Women no longer believe a baby can fix a crappy life or a crappy relationship. She can now get an education, grow professionally, support herself, and then get married and have children because she wants to do so. There's no perfect time to start a family or grow a family and become a parent. Also, as AI interferes with cell selection and human lives, it will be interesting to wait and watch what unfolds.